This is the other half of the square, and we're going to see the statue of Saint Francis in a minute. Okay, this is Saint Francis speaking to the animals, as one of his powers was the one to understand the animals' languages. And these are the other pilgrims, his friars, who are in awe seeing his powers, whom he got directly from heaven, or so they thought, of course. This is the narrative, and as you can see, this is the other half of San Giovanni Square, St. John Square. And that's San Giovanni in Laterano, which we are going to see more in detail in a minute. See how beautiful Rome is. So I can't wait for you to come visit. Okay, we are now in the very heart of this wonderful square, at almost the twilight, and there you can see in all its majesty San Giovanni in Laterano. The statues you see almost on the roof are the 12 apostles, with Christ, of course, who is holding his cross. You can see all the columns, the marbles, and inside we have a lot of specimens of arts, like paintings, mosaics, but today it's Sunday afternoon, almost Sunday evening, so I suppose there is some kind of like mass or function, so we can't go in and film. Of course, it's a matter of respect for the cult they are holding right now. But we can take a look at other, like, outer buildings. This is one side of the Holy Steps building and church. This is one side. And you can see it's like painted in gold, and there are a lot of paintings. I think this is a mosaic with Christ teaching to the 12 apostles. It is very, very old. This is the papal like badge with the two keys, which traditionally every pope gets from Saint Peter in person, because they are their successors. Okay. Another perspective of the same wonderful church, this basilica. Now we are going to the side, to one of the sides. And this, the red one, is the bishop's residence, the official residence for the bishop who takes care of this specific basilica. Now we're going to see the facade of the Holy Steps. This is one of the sides, as I told you before. This is the Holy Step Church. As you can see from the outside, it's nothing really special, but it has a wonderful and very suggestive history, as you can see, Cappella Papale Sancta Sanctorum. It means papal chapel. It means the holiest place of all. And on the other side, this is the entrance, of course, and you can see the steps. I will try to catch them more closely in a minute, but I wanted to show you the other inscription in Italian. Pontificio Santuario Scala Santa, which means Papal Sanctuary, Holy Steps. Now, I hope I can catch the steps more closely. There you go. In Christian tradition, these are the very steps that Christ walked on his way to being judged when he was then condemned to death and he was crucified. Of course, I don't know if this is the original stair, the original marbles or anything, but anyway, si può filmare? Sì. Ok, scusa. But anyway, it's really, really very much revered. Okay, this is another corner of this very big, very large square, and the very big and very large bishop's building, like palace, I would say. And this is the very famous obelisk in St. John's Square. Look at how it's suggestive it is, because it's right in the light of twilight. We're going to have a very longer talk about obelisks in Rome in one of the next videos coming out. But anyway, now I'm gonna show it much more closely, sorry. These are the buildings, the flats. Who owns a flat here is either very rich or a politician or has inherited these beautiful flats. They are very large, very well refined, very elegant, very smart, very classy, very upper class. Yeah, I think you understand what I mean. Let's take a look at the obelisk more closely. Look at this beautiful, beautiful building. Very historical, very elegant, very upper class, very expensive. This is one of the very hearts of Rome, because when they say Rome has a heart, yes, it's true, but there are many, because it's very large and it was built in very different times. So there are many hearts of Rome, and this one is one of the more suggestive. This is the obelisk, and this is still the bishop's building and palace. More on the obelisk. Okay. Now I think you can see it better, and maybe if you look at that in the lights of twilight, it's even more suggestive. And over there we have more recent constructions that we're gonna see in a minute. Though this one, made of marbles, is another, like there are some church tenants, and the other one is from the Middle Ages, but we're gonna see that in a more specific way in a minute. Meanwhile, enjoy this beautiful, beautiful landscape. lots of tourists, of course, because it's Sunday evening. 19th of November, and still feels like the end of summer. It's been exceptional because Rome is very warm, but not this warm usually. Yes, listen to the bells. It's really beautiful. You know, I've been living in Rome for ages now, and every single time I walk the streets again, these squares again, and I look at these monuments again, I breathe this great air again. It's like being here for the very first time. It's always marvelous. Marvelous, that's the only adjective I would use for all this. And of course, yes, this is Rome. Let's take a look at the medieval building over there. This is the iron circle meant to protect and like separate the obelisks from the rest of the square, and I think it's really very symbolic, but we will say about this in a different video. You can see there are 4 sides and 4 little pillars because that's the symbolic number 4 that we will talk about at a later date. We are reaching to the medieval building, construction, structure, you name it. Okay, now we are still in Piazza San Giovanni, St. John's Square. This is the very extreme side. As you can see, this square is so very large, and this is a church which dates back to the 12th century, so a little more than the year 1000. And as you can see, it is very medieval in structure. Of course, it's still in use today, as many structures of that time, and even older, more ancient. We will see the Basilica di San Clemente in one of the next videos, like the Saint Clement's Basilica, of course. And you can say it is medieval because you can see the bricks, very little dark bricks. I will try to portray them more closely in a minute. Okay, as you can see, we have very like